Hey, what's going on everybody? Today I'm doing a review of 3DF Zephyr Lite. I picked this photogrammetry software up off of Steam on the summer sale a while back, and I got it for 60 bucks on the sale, which made it at the time the very best price point of a photogrammetry software. And right now it is, I believe, $200. One thing about it being on Steam is it's really nice that it automatically updates just using your regular Steam stuff. Wait a second. Game software. Yeah, it's just under software there. And let's see, they put out a release on June 20th and then another one on August 5th. So they're pretty regular with the updates. That's really good about the 3DS Zephyr. One of the last updates they installed was a DSLR remote shooting one, which should allow your Canon to sync right up to the program here somehow, but I haven't tested it. So I'm pretty happy with it, but it does give me a couple issues, but I'll get into those at the end. See, the workflow for 3DF Zephyr is I don't want to open a new project, but you go new project and then add photos, and then you just grab the photos you want from your folder. Like I said, these are all made with my trades box. This is an old this is a 22 pistol I have laying around. I forgot about it, or I thought it got stolen a while back, and then I found it outside. I'd set it down on top of my doghouse, and I didn't find it until like a month or two later, and then it got this this rusty texture on it that you see, which makes it pretty good for scanning. That's why I went ahead and did it. But yeah, the workflow is you just add new project, add photos. That's what it does with the new project. Then you select your JPEGs. You cannot use NEFs, no NEFs with 3DF Zephyr Lite. But yeah, you just select them all, open them up, and then it'll see We'll see, it'll just add them all here, and then you go to the next. But I'm not adding it. Yeah, I want to abort the process. Yeah. But what it does on that one, it generates the sparse point cloud after you add the photos. Then all the photos are here around it. Whatever. Let me see. I turned off one of the view buttons that showed the cameras. Camera scale. Oh, I turned the scale way down on them. But yeah, here you go. But yeah, you can see it lines the cameras up pretty good. That took that one around, like, I did it on the deep setting. It's got 4 settings when you go to do these things. In fact, let's just go ahead and open a new project. Save rusty piece, yes. My rusty 22 piece. So yeah, with a new project, you just add these photos here. Then it goes next, and it starts running like a small error triangulation on them, or like initial camera parameters. That's what it does there. Then you do different categories: aerial for drone, human body, urban for city and stuff, and I'm using close range. The default lost a lot of these cameras here. It only got one side, so I have to go deep or exhaustive. And the deep, it took quite a bit of time, maybe like an hour and a half on this. Alright, let's cancel that. And it uses a lot of your computer power when you're doing it. Let's see, open recent. Now as we're back to that one, once you're done with the first step, it generates the sparse point cloud, which is the error triangulation of the cameras and just a sparse point cloud there. And on the sparse point cloud is where I'll go through and I'll clean it up and I'll delete all the extra points on the outside. You delete points using this button right here. Let's see, go sparse point cloud. And see, you can see a couple points here that you can grab and delete off of the sparse point cloud. See those small ones there I'm grabbing? And now they're selected. And you can just click delete right here and that'll delete them. Cut them out. So that's one of the crucial steps there in the process, is clean up that noise. One of the other nifty things it has is that you can, if it's got like a lot of noise on the edges here, you can just select this and then go to Invert Selection, and then it'll select the opposite. So what I normally do is I'll line it up in an orientation like that, and I'll take the box selector and I will grab along the entire, and then I will invert selection, and then I'll delete all the selected polys, and that will delete all the mess that's on the outside of the box. Now once you're done with that, you go to the next in the workflow is the dense point cloud generation. And again, you have these multiple levels of detail. For what I do, I normally go for high details, raw output for the sharper angles. And let's see, dense point cloud 2. Yeah, this is the one I used. Properties of this one were close range, high details, raw output. That took another 51 minutes runtime to run. So after that runs, the next step in the workflow is mesh generation, and you generate the mesh from the point cloud, the dense point cloud. Then again, you have these presets. Sharp features is for, since I'm doing game assets, I do sharp features on everything. I think I did high detail sharp features probably. Then you hit next, and when you do there, you get this mesh. That's what you get. Now when you're at the mesh stage, what I like to do is to bring up the bounding box. Now let me reset the bounding box. See, when the bounding box starts off, oftentimes it's out of kilter and out of whack. So what you do is you scale it. So you grab these edges and you make them to the right size you want. And that's where you grab it. And you scale the entire bounding box just snug around the unit. Let's see, then this is, you rotate your bounding box so you make it nice and straight. And then even before you do the bounding box, I got off on the wrong tangent. You're supposed to, the best thing is to define the up vector. And you can define and make the object stand upright by using this button right here. So I know that I want it to stand with this being horizontal, so I want the up vector to be on the flat body of the gun body here, to go up. Oh, wait. Like that, and then that will define the up vector. Click it, and it'll change it around a little bit, and that will make the bounding box define the up vector of the world. But yeah, with those two steps you want to do at the mesh step. So now after you're done with that, you have up vector defined clearly, you have a nice tight bounding box. And before I move on, one thing about this bounding box is, if you go to generate a dense point cloud and the bounding box is too short, like here, you'll get a point cloud with half of it chopped off, and you won't understand why. The reason why you'll have like half of your model chopped off is because the bounding box automatically will chop this stuff off if the default bounding box is too small, which often happens. And then you do the textured mesh generation, and you select which mesh here you want to use. It gives you the accurate texture sizes. That's 16K, 8K, 4K textures, and the max number of vertices. I believe the default setting is 1 there. Then you just hit next, and then you start getting your textured meshes off of it, which is this model here. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the way everything looks on this. I've had a couple models that give me just a bunch of minor holes everywhere, but this one worked out really well. And if you notice, there's these spots right here that I've chopped. What I did with those spots was let's see, mesh 1, no, not this one, mesh 2, copy. This is how this is how those spots originally looked. I used one of the snazzy features 3DF Zephyr has to edit the mesh while you're in there. So what I did was I just grabbed it around, and then you can just delete that. So there we got the trigger body now separated in that little gap. And I did the same right here, where I went and I grabbed this. But this made it not watertight anymore, but I'm going to fix that in post. So you can just delete that. And then you get your space in between the cylinder release and the barrel. I mean, using these two features here, this brings you to another feature that 3DF Zephyr has embedded in it that I like a lot. So, say we want to animate this gun to pull the trigger back, rotate the cylinder, and drop the hammer. Well, you're going to need to animate these pieces differently. So 3DF Zephyr has, so let's go to Orthographic Projection, so that's flat. It has this nifty that cut feature. So you can take this, then you can select that, so we have the trigger selected, and we go to New Object via Copy, and it just isolates that one piece there. So now you have just the trigger assembly that you can animate. So say we start with, we want all of the critical pieces here. That's what I did. I went through and I copied the cylinder. Now I can take just the cylinder head and should be able to rotate it and mirror it in post-processing, and then to get a complete cylinder. This is the trigger. Just as that sits, I should be able to just to animate it in Blender, since it's separated from the original mesh. And then this is the hammer grouping, or the hammer. And if you wanted to even make like a functional pieces via the cutting and stuff, you can take that and you can basically extrapolate that out and create, you know, the hammer tip here and the little loop that links into the spring and the trigger mechanism. Yeah, that's a really nifty feature that they have built into it, is the new object via copy. In fact, I'll show you some other nifty stuff that I was doing with the new object via copy. One second. Alright, here we are back on this hardware table I did the other day. Let me change the settings settings, tools, options. Turn the camera scale way down again. But yeah, this is a table full of hardware, and with the new object via selection, let's see, open it up. See, with the new object via selection, we're able to isolate one individual part, in this case a stump grinder tooth, and get the rough, the rough dimensions of it really well. Let's see. But yeah, that opens up new possibilities, like chopping out buildings of aerial scans and then using them as game assets, or using them in different projects from the original, like topography scan you did or landscape scan. See, now I can just take this and new object via copy, and I'm just doing this really fast. I think I left out part of that there. But it is chopping this out now. So now you just have the exhaust there. And that is a really useful feature that it has built into it. So overall, with 3DF Zephyr here, I'm really happy with it. They are constantly updating it, unlike some other people. They have some really nifty tools built into it. I think with the Pro version, it gives you the scaling options inside of it, because right now they've removed that feature from it. There's no way to scale it inside. Yeah, the DSLR remote shooting is a really interesting development they've done, but I haven't tested it yet. And yeah, I'm really happy with 3DF Zephyr. For if it pops up again for 60-70 bucks, I might do a blast out to my subscribers about it, because it's worth every penny at that price. And even at 200 bucks, like I said, the benefits of being on Steam, that it just constantly updates when it needs to, and Steam has its requirements that aren't nothing that you got to deal with. So very, very, very happy with it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe.